Greetings, ghouls, and welcome back to another deep dive into horror television. Tonight we're taking a look at an episode of Night Visions called The Maze. This episode was directed by horror legend Tobe Hooper, perhaps best known for his hit The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you haven't seen the original, please go check it out for a real treat. Let's get right into it. In the opening scene, college student Susan Thornhill is running laps when she's approached by Wes, a boy from her history class. Wes would love it if Susan went on a date with him. He invites her to a concert this weekend, but she declines. She isn't into concerts. Wes does his best to entice her.
Honestly, I was trying to get you to go out with me, and I thought it'd be an inducement, like when they give you the free DVD to get you to buy the player, and hey, I'll tell you what. If you come out with me, I'll throw in a free DVD.
Thanks, but I really have to run.
Poor guy is down bad. He seems nice enough, and Sarah's friend Gail agrees. She thinks Susan should put herself out there and stop being so shy. They've been friends since 3rd grade, and Gail can't stress to her enough that she's going to regret it when she's alone in her 80s. Gail is a fun character, and I think we'd all be better off with a fun friend that motivates us to be our best selves. So Susan wraps up her coffee and heads off. While walking near the college garden, she spots the boy that has a crush on her. She decides to avoid a possible interaction, and she heads into the hedge maze. I also love the idea of a hedge maze to get lost in between classes. That's awesome. She gets lost as all hell for a bit, but she eventually finds the exit. Now that she's back on campus, what was once bustling is now completely deserted. The entire campus is empty. She tries to place a phone call on her cell and there's no dial tone. Now she's super freaked. She hears some music playing from one of the lecture halls. It's Bach, and her professor is ready to teach. Susan notices the half-dozen dead students sitting there in the classroom. What the hell happened here? Susan fends off the kooky professor and exits to the cafeteria. This is one of the prettiest scenes. Look at the view from the caf, such a gorgeous setting with the mountains. Anyway, a cat drops a plate and scares Susie. She enters the kitchen and finds another dead person. This time a chef with her head in the oven. We hate to see it. She exits and notices a date in the caf. It's now the year 2003. For reference, this episode first aired in 2002 and the story takes place in 2001. Anyway, she continues her adventure, now armed with a weapon. She knows better to trust this kooky world by now. A lot of the episode is our central character walking around quiet libraries, stairways, and other rooms. A phone rings and she goes to pick it up.
Hello.
What are you gonna do with the knife, Susan?
Who is this? Where are you?
The knife can't protect you. You're going to die.
Now that's quite ominous. Our final girl keeps running around. She enters the archive, and there's the same voice as the phone. Whoa, it's the boy from the beginning. He tells her to go look at the newspaper, and she does. We learn there's an asteroid coming that's reportedly 10 times larger than the one that killed the dinosaurs, and it's heading straight for Earth. Armageddon is coming. Scientists say nothing will survive. People are hiding out in basements, murdering each other, killing themselves. It's a complete nightmare out there. Instead of hiding out in a cellar, Wes stayed at university to read the books he'll never get a chance to get around to. The reality sets in for Susan. This is a lot to take in. Wes is charming. He doesn't regret asking her out freshman year. He wishes she had said yes. He tells her what love is like, and it gets Susan thinking. She's never been in love.
It's an amazing feeling. And then there's times when you wake up at 2 a.m. and you just gotta be with that person. So you wake her up. You ask her if she wants to just take a walk with you. Nowhere in particular, just to walk and hold hands under the night sky.
Oh geez, brilliant performance from this man, or maybe I'm just into cheesy romance stuff. Anyway, she tries explaining her predicament to him, like she woke up this morning several years ago and wound up years in advance through a maze. He doesn't have the chance to understand because he gets stabbed by the kooky music professor. Yikes. Susan shows the kook the newspaper that explains it's doomsday, and this eventually leads to her dropping the knife as the air raid sirens start. Susan picks up her bloody friend and limps him towards the maze. They have very little time to get back before they're struck in the head. Wes isn't going to make it. His final words are that he wishes he would have known her better. How sad. Only 1 second later, the asteroid hits Earth and a huge doomsday cloud forms. She crawls to the end of the maze before it's too late. And she's back in the time she woke up in. Woohoo! She goes to bed that night and her eyes are as wide as one would imagine. She wakes up Wes and asks him to go for a walk. Nowhere in particular, just like he said to her in the future. Aww. They love each other until the world ends in just a few years. And as our very smart narrator Henry Rollins says,
nothing lasts forever, kids. Try not to forget that.
so what did we think of this one, ghouls? It left me wanting more at times. I think the story wastes a lot of time just walking around an empty campus. This gives us a sense of isolation and perhaps intrigue, and it also shows us the story instead of telling us what's happening. We figure it out at the same pace as the main character does, so I get why it feels this way. How this tale is visually portrayed is the strongest part for me. It gives us an opportunity to see all the pretty locations. However, I think the writer failed to give us enough obstacles along the journey. For one, they missed the opportunity to bring back the best friend that Susan grew up with. That could have been cool, to make her a more important part of the story. Maybe her friend was one of the dead bodies in the Baroque music room. If so, that wasn't really portrayed. So basically, far too much silence, not enough character development and obstacles. Susan learned she should make each day count. That's very nice, Susie. I'm gonna give this one a 7.5 out of 10 for the series Night Visions. There are better episodes for sure, though this one does feel timely. There are moments that lack tension, which seems weak in an Armageddon-based episode. Having said that, I enjoyed it. I think the acting was superb all around. The creepy teacher was an eclectic choice. She was a very wacky character that hardly makes sense, but it's fine. The poor lady was in a psychotic state. The real world feels like doomsday is near sometimes, and I really wish you and your family some peace and joy during these troubling times. I hope these videos bring some of you some good old escapism and fun, and I also hope to have many more talks about horror with you all. It's always a pleasure, and I couldn't do it without my beloved patrons. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel in any way that you can, whether it's financially or likes or comments. It means a lot and helps a lot. So with that, be well and stay spooky.